Hi everybody, this is a video showing you how to take through Design Space this SVG and Print Then Cut project to make this advent calendar. It's a 12-day calendar, which is something I get asked for a lot, and this one actually has in it 12 little small doors and then a larger one behind the wording Merry Christmas to maybe put a different treat in if you want to. It's been designed basically in the first instance as one which takes the gift shaped wax melts, and that's the 18mm deep one. But then I've also included a different version that you can make 25mm deep for slightly bigger treats, and one which is 50mm deep for really quite big things if you want to put, I don't know, maybe little liqueur chocolates in it or something. And of course, if you don't do it as a print then cut project, if you just do it as a cut project without this image on the front, you can make it a little bit bigger as well. Okay, so we'll get the video going and then it'll all become clear. So that's the, yeah, I may as well bring the 18mm one in. As you can see from this, they all look exactly the same, apart from the different depth of wall and therefore the different depths of the pockets that get pushed into the holes layer. So we'll add that to the canvas now. And this is what it looks like when it comes in. And the first thing you've got to do, as you do with any multi-part SVG with score lines, is you've got to convert the lines that come in as scores, but which you actually want to be, which come in as cuts, pardon me, but which you actually want to be scores. And with my SVGs, they always live in that first subgroup in the layers panel. If an SVG which has multiple parts and score lines has been saved correctly, it should come in one overall group, which contains absolutely everything, and that's at the top. And then within it there are these two subgroups, and the first one contains all the lines, and you can see there are no coloured pieces there, so it's quite easy to spot really. Contains all the lines that you're going to convert to scores, and this second one contains all the cut pieces. If we go a bit further down you can see them all. Can I bring that over a bit? Those are all the tiny cuts here, and they are all grouped in individual tiny groups within it. As you can see, that's a really big group, and that's because all these are little individual cuts, and the crisscrosses there are individual cuts. But all you need to do when you come to work on it is to click on the name of the group. So if I keep it closed like that, it's easier for you to work with actually. It doesn't really matter, it's just that you just need to know that you only need to click on the name of a group to select everything that's in it. So, I'm waffling a bit. First step, click on that first subgroup which contains all the lines you're going to convert to scores. Go to your operations menu or edit, whatever you're using. I'm on the desktop version for PC. If you're on the app, these will be in different places, but you still want this name. And you're going to find score in the drop down menu, and you can see that those lines have now been converted to scores. They've become dashed on screen, and while they're still selected, you need to ungroup them, and on the PC version that's at the top of your layers panel there. Just going to make that a little bit narrower again. Okay, now we need to select the group underneath that, which contains all the cut pieces and all these loads and loads of tiny little cuts in the advent doors and in the holes layer here. And all you need to do there is ungroup, so back up to the top and ungroup. And then the third step is to select absolutely everything on screen and do a third and final ungroup. You can select everything on screen a number of ways. You can use the select all button up there, you can use Control A on your keyboard, or you can just drag a box to enclose everything. So now all the pieces on screen are separate, all the scores are separate, and you can attach the individual sets of scores to the pieces that they relate to. You've got to do it one by one, because if you select the whole SVG, you'll end up with a project which is too large to cut. I don't know if it'll give us that message. Yeah, you see, you get that little warning there, not supported by Maker, image too large. And that's only because everything's been selected and attached as one. You've got to do all pieces separately. And I think the quickest way to do that is to click on canvas somewhere near a shape, drag a box to enclose it, and then attach it. So just one piece at a time. That is the pocket that sits in this hole here. This is the tiny pocket that goes in the little holes, and this is a wall section. I'll tell you about the duplication in a minute. This obviously is the front of the advent calendar with all the doors, which you don't need the perforation tool for this calendar. The tears for the doors are all made out of lots of tiny little cuts with this solid edge to start it off, so they do tear quite well. But you do need to attach that. Even though it's got no scores, you still need to attach it so that all those cuts stay together. This is what I refer to in the instructions. You do get some really detailed instructions with lots of photographs for this calendar. This is the holes layer. You need to attach, select everything there and attach, and that includes the cuts and the scores. And this is the base. No other scores or cuts there. Right, so we'll just get those out of the way for a second. Now then, it's an 8-sided calendar and each wall section has 2 walls in it, so we need to duplicate that until we've got 4, and I'm actually just doing Control D on my keyboard there, but you can also use this plus duplicate symbol at the top of your layers panel. So we've got our 4 wall pieces with 2 sides in each one. These are for the little mini pockets here, so obviously we need 12 of those. 1, 2, again I'm just doing Control D, you can do whatever you do, and there's the duplicate symbol up there. So we've got 4, and 3 4s are 12 out this, so I'll go 4, 8, 12. Now we've got all our mini pockets and we only need 1 of these. Right, so if you're going to just cut this calendar, if you're not doing the print then cut aspect of it, you can stop watching here because you're ready to go, really. I'll just click make it and show you what happens. Let's choose 12 by 12. Yeah, everything fits on 12 by 12. If you're just cutting a plain calendar and then cutting your own numbers and other embellishments to stick on top of it, you need 4 sheets of 12 by 12. In the instructions, PDF of instructions that you get, I do explain the different paper configurations you might need. Okay, but I'm now going to show you how to handle the print then cut part of it, because we are going to do it as if we're making it all from print then cut. Right, so this is the door front. Excuse me. And we're going to detach it for a start because we need to, and I think I might also need to, do I need to ungroup it? I don't think I do. That's good. Okay, so now we need to bring in the artwork for the front, which is somewhere in here. There it is. Shall I do it from scratch? So, do you know what? I will. I'll just do it from scratch, and then so I'll go to upload image, browse, and then I need to look for it. There it is. 12 Days Octo Advent artwork. It comes in like this. It's already cleaned up. You don't need to do anything to it. Just choose complex when you get to this window and continue. You don't need to do anything. You need that white background, so don't get rid of it. Apply and continue. And then absolutely you bring it in as a print then cut image. So that's how you bring that one in. It's taking its time thinking about it, isn't it? So there it is in the library, and now I can add it to canvas. And PNGs always come in at the wrong size, or at least mine do. Haven't found a way to make it work properly yet. So just for now, so nothing moves around, I'm going to select all the front and I'm going to group it. And if we look at that, we can see it's 24.71 centimeters square. Obviously it's a regular octagon and it's as wide as it is tall. So we need to select our artwork, go up to the width box, 24.71, tab across, and it makes it the right size. Okay, so now I'm going to select the artwork and the front SVG, and I'm going to center it horizontally and center it vertically. So now I know that that artwork is exactly where it needs to be. And so now I'm going to select this green cut piece again, I'm going to ungroup it because I need to get rid of that green now. So there, it's gone, and you can see that all the cuts, I'll just zoom in, all the cuts for the doors and the numbers are all in the right place. So that's ready to go now, but what we do need to do is attach it. Select everything, the artwork and all those little tiny cuts, and attach. Right, so that piece there is a print then cut, and everything else is just standard cut. So when I'm making this, I just send that on its own. So we'll click make it. It very helpfully puts the print then cut first, and obviously it's taking advantage of the larger size print then cut on A3. Do make that clear in the listing. So you make sure that you've chosen A3, and then you just continue, send to printer. You will pick your printer from this list here. You don't need to add bleed because there's no artwork at the cut edges, but I would use System Dialog and then press print. And for me personally, because the paper I print on goes through the back of my printer, I always, when I click on preferences, I choose paper tray. Quite often the wrong paper size is still here, so you need to make sure you click on the paper size that you're going to use, and you would choose whichever print quality you want to send the artwork through on. I'm not going to print it because I've got lots of these, so I'll just press cancel. I wonder if it'll let me. Yeah, okay. So we've got the cover on an A3, but we can select these now. I'll probably have to go back another step, won't I? Yes, I do. Yeah, but these we can still choose 12 by 12 for. So in this instance, we've got one A3, which is going to print and then cut, and then we've got 3 12 by 12s for the rest of the calendar. So the other 3 calendars work in exactly the same way. Obviously, they'll use a little bit more paper, because even though the same amount of holes obviously, but when the walls are deeper, these little pockets and that pocket gets bigger, and the walls are deeper obviously, so it requires more card to cut them. But that's all discussed in the PDF of instructions. We don't really need to go through it here because the method of actually getting them through Design Space is exactly the same. I hope that's answered any questions you might have. When you come to cut it or assemble it, if you've got any questions, do not hesitate to get in touch. I'm always happy to help, and the links for getting in touch are in the description below. You can get in touch via Facebook or Etsy, whichever you prefer. And if you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, the link to do that is also in the description. Thanks a lot. Bye.